Alright folks, welcome back to the continuing walkthrough of the Advanced Platoon Leader game system. I am of course Jason, and this is video number 4, I believe. In this particular video we will focus on the AI and throw in a little tidbits at the end of this video, and then the next video will focus on some odds and ends, some optional rules, etc. So the AI in this thing, more specifically artificial intelligence, if you like, i.e. the Germans, that was more easily facilitated in this game than others, primarily or mostly because of the sequence of play phase chit draw. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, the chit that is drawn will for the most part determine what a German does. So for instance, if you draw the assault phase chit, any German that is capable will conduct assault. Similarly, if you draw the rally chit, any German that is capable will conduct a rally. Now, when it comes to movement and fire, your options increase significantly. We'll begin with movement, and originally I had designed movement to be a little bit more random and unpredictable. Unfortunately, that is how it ended up. Random and unpredictable, not logical and realistic. So, had to overhaul that. In fact, this is probably the third incarnation of the AI that has been going on with this system. The AI here is basically a priority list driven thing, and as soon as I locate it, so for movement, it begins with a sequence of priorities, and you will begin with the first one and move down the list. Very straightforward, very basic. So for instance, the first priority states a unit in the open will move to the closest cover. It's about as basic as you can get. We don't currently in this situation have anybody in the open, therefore you would move to the next priority. You'll continue doing so until you can fulfill the suggested priority in the list, and that is how that works. So, for instance, the second priority we would move down as a unit out of command. No, move to the third priority. Unit closest to unoccupied or enemy-occupied victory point objective would move towards it. So, for instance, if we had a victory point objective over here, the closest unit, which would be this guy, perhaps. Let's say this guy would move towards it. If it couldn't fulfill that priority, again, keep moving down the list. If you can't fulfill any of them, guess what? No movement. Something else I should add is the way this, and this is kind of by way of digression, and I'll bring it back on the road. The way these sequence of play chit draw things work is pretty interesting, because it really forces you to make very hard critical decisions. And for instance, if you have that situation where you need to conduct a movement to reach a victory point objective, but it's the fire phase, you could definitely benefit from firing to allow yourself to move. However, you don't have enough action points to do both. What do? Do you hold off on firing and just literally roll the dice in hopes that you can spend valuable movement points reaching your victory point objective? Or do you spend those valuable victory points, valuable action points firing, hold off on perhaps moving this turn, and then reverse it in the next turn? It's decisions like that that this chit draw sequence really forces you to, again, make very hard decisions. Really enhances gameplay as well. So again, back to the movement. That's basically how that works. The fire phase can be randomized. Unlike the movement phase, you have two separate priority lists. Who's going to fire? You'll roll a die. Again, you have a priority list, but this time the die result will determine where you start on that list. So rather than starting number 1, moving down every time, you will start at a different area of the list and move down each time. Likewise with the second list in the fire sequence, who do you fire at? Roll a die. That is where you will start on the list and begin moving down until you can fulfill one of those priorities. That is basically how that works. And we got about 5 minutes left. I can only do about 10 minutes at a time with these videos because I don't have a bona fide camera. So I'm filming on either a phone or an iPad, and then when I go to upload, if it's over a certain amount of time, it won't let me. So my life is awesome. Alright, so that's the real quick jog through of the AI. Got about 4 minutes left in this video. What I'd like to do in the next one, and we'll call it a night for these. That'll be 5 videos. We want to take a look at some optional rules, some odds and ends, the build your own section that allows you to build your own scenarios and forces. But real quick, before we end this video, I'd like to add that there is no armor in here. I know a lot of you are going to send hateful mail to me. You're going to write your congressman. You're going to be upset, and I get it. You should be. But this ain't that game. If I was to add armor in here, I wouldn't be able to do it until I felt like I had done it right. To do it right would mean so much more rules overhead, probably double. And I'm not saying it can't be done. I'm saying should it be done? In this case, probably not. I want to keep this game focused primarily on what it is, infantry. I get it. There were interactions between infantry and armored fighting vehicles, but for this particular thing, I just had to leave it out. Now, I'm not the only one to do this. Combat Commander was successful in not doing the armor thing, and I am by no means comparing myself or this game to Combat Commander, but I'm just saying, I'm not the only one to do this, and I won't be the last. So, no armor in here. You're just going to have to get over it. Likewise, there's going to be no bazookas, no Panzerfaust, there's no artillery in here. I did have the rules for artillery written up and in here at one time, but took it out for reasons I won't get into. But maybe on down the road, there could be some add-ons, files that get uploaded, Board Game Geek perhaps, or something of that respect, that you can, if you so desire, at your own behest, add on chunks of various things, say for instance artillery. Everything else is going to be in here, everything that should be in here, your basic staples of infantry combat, 3 varieties of machine gun, mortars, and demolition charges. So enough to keep you busy as such. Anything else? I think we'll leave it at that for this video. When I come back, like I said, we're going to talk about some odds and ends, build your own scenarios, and a few optional rules. So I'll see you on the flip side.